Hello, everyone. We interrupt our scheduled programming with an important breaking news story. The Earth has been hit by a major solar flare, and experts are urging people around the globe to be prepared for a series of possible disruptions. This powerful event, originating from the sun's active region, has sent a massive wave of charged particles racing towards Earth. While solar flares are a fairly common occurrence, this particular event has caught the attention of space weather experts due to its intensity and the potential impacts it may have on our planet over the coming hours and days. To understand what's happening, let's take a closer look at the nature of a solar flare. Solar flares occur when magnetic energy that has built up in the solar atmosphere is suddenly released. This release propels high-energy particles into space, and when they're directed towards Earth, these particles can interact with our planet's magnetic field. In a case of a powerful flare like the one we're experiencing now, the result can be widespread, impacting communications, navigation systems, satellites, power grids, and even creating visible auroras far beyond the usual polar regions. One of the first ways people may notice this flare's effect is through interference with radio communications, especially those that use high-frequency signals. The disruption could range from temporary blackouts to a complete loss of signal in certain areas, impacting not only day-to-day activities, but also critical communication lines used by aviation and maritime industries. GPS systems, which rely on satellite signals, are also at risk, potentially affecting navigation accuracy. This could have significant implications for both personal devices and commercial applications like logistics and air travel. Satellite operators, too, are on high alert. A solar event of this magnitude can cause satellites to malfunction or even permanently damage sensitive electronic components, which could interfere with TV broadcasts, internet services, and weather data collection. Many satellite companies are now working around the clock, adjusting orbits, powering down non-essential components, and increasing shielding efforts to protect their equipment. Beyond the tech sphere, power grids are also at risk. Solar flares induce electric currents in the Earth's crust, which can overwhelm transformers and other electrical infrastructure. Some regions, especially those in higher latitudes where Earth's magnetic field is weaker, are more vulnerable to these currents. Utility companies are monitoring the situation closely and have contingency plans in place to prevent widespread outages. While the technology sector braces for these potential impacts, the general public has something unique to look forward to: enhanced auroras. As charged particles interact with Earth's atmosphere, they create spectacular light displays commonly known as the northern and southern lights. Because of this flare's intensity, auroras could be visible much farther south than usual, reaching areas that rarely see this natural phenomenon. For example, people as far south as northern Europe, parts of the United States, and New Zealand might get a glimpse of these vibrant lights tonight. This may provide a rare opportunity for many to witness the awe-inspiring beauty of an aurora display. Scientists are actively studying the flare, collecting data to assess its full impact and monitoring conditions as the situation evolves. Government agencies, including NASA and the European Space Agency, are working in coordination to keep the public and critical industries informed. Their immediate focus is on minimizing risks to infrastructure and maintaining the safety of people worldwide. For those listening, it's important to stay updated. Governments and agencies may issue further warnings or advice, especially if the situation escalates. And if you do notice any interruptions in services, such as GPS inaccuracies or trouble with your mobile networks, remember that these could be temporary effects of the solar flare. While this solar event is creating a range of challenges, it's also a reminder of the sun's incredible influence on Earth. This phenomenon brings both breathtaking sights and complex technical hurdles, reminding us of our planet's connection to the larger cosmos. We'll continue to monitor the situation closely and bring you the latest updates as they come in. As we continue to cover this unfolding story, let's delve into the possible longer-term effects and what people can do to prepare. While the immediate disruptions may seem like an inconvenience, experts emphasize that understanding solar flares and preparing for them is crucial. Unlike most natural disasters, solar storms don't cause visible destruction, but the invisible impact on our interconnected digital world can be profound. It's a stark reminder that our modern infrastructure depends on a delicate balance that solar weather can easily disrupt. In terms of power grids, Especially in areas close to the poles, utility companies are taking precautionary steps by monitoring voltage levels and preparing for any sudden power surges. Although these steps don't guarantee a complete avoidance of issues, they can help mitigate potential blackouts. This means that for now, most regions should expect minimal impact on electricity, but in the event of a major solar storm, localized outages could happen. Residents in affected areas may be advised to have basic emergency supplies ready, including backup lighting and perhaps a radio to receive updates if phone networks are compromised. Moving to the impact on flights and air travel, solar flares can interfere with critical avionics and GPS systems used for navigation. Airline operators are currently working with space weather experts to assess flight paths, especially those that cross over the polar regions. These regions are more vulnerable to solar interference, so some airlines may choose to reroute flights to avoid potential issues. Travelers are advised to stay informed through their airlines for any potential delays or rerouting, especially those flying internationally or on polar routes. For the scientific community, this event presents an invaluable research opportunity. Solar flares provide critical data about the sun's behavior, helping scientists better predict future events and understand how to safeguard infrastructure from solar activity. Observatories around the world, along with satellites like NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, are capturing real-time data on the flare. The information gathered will contribute to refining forecasting models, improving early warning systems, and perhaps one day giving us the ability to minimize impacts even further. And what about the future? Solar flares are a part of the sun's natural cycle, and we're currently moving towards a period of increased solar activity known as the solar maximum. This means we can expect more frequent and potentially more intense solar events over the next few years. Experts urge governments, industries, and even everyday people to take these events seriously, as the impacts could become more pronounced with time. As for people who are hoping to witness an aurora tonight, it's advised to get to a location far from city lights for the best view. With auroras potentially visible in areas much farther south than usual, photographers, stargazers, and nature lovers have a rare chance to witness this magical phenomenon up close. For those hoping to capture the moment on camera, try to use long exposure settings, which can capture the light better than the human eye, producing a stunning photograph of the sky. Keep in mind, though, that auroras may be visible for only short periods, so patience and good timing are key. As we conclude tonight's report, remember that events like this are a humbling reminder of the vastness of space and our position in the universe. This flare reminds us of our dependency on the natural world beyond Earth and the need to develop better preparedness for the impacts of solar weather. It's a phenomenon as breathtaking as it is powerful, merging science and spectacle in a way that only the cosmos can. One thing to note is that, unlike the sudden impact of natural disasters on Earth, the effects of a solar flare can build gradually, intensifying as the storm moves through our atmosphere and magnetic field. That's why we may see interruptions or unusual behavior in tech systems in waves over the next several hours or even days. Scientists at space weather monitoring stations are working diligently to track these waves in real time, using specialized satellites and ground-based instruments that measure fluctuations in the Earth's magnetic field and ionosphere. Their data helps pinpoint areas of highest activity, allowing critical industries to better understand where and when disturbances are likely to peak. Communication remains a top priority, especially for emergency responders and government agencies. Authorities are urging people to stay informed and remain patient if they experience connectivity issues, as these may be temporary. If you are using navigation apps, for instance, you may notice your location jumping or lagging, which is a direct consequence of interference with GPS satellites. Experts recommend that, whenever possible, individuals rely on traditional means of navigation if traveling, as GPS-based routes may not be reliable during this period. Beyond our planet, space-based organizations, including NASA and SpaceX, are monitoring the potential impact on their equipment, from satellites to crewed missions. The sun, though it's a constant source of light and life, occasionally reminds us of its raw power. Solar flares are triggered when magnetic energy stored in sunspots is suddenly released in the form of a massive burst of radiation. These bursts can range from smaller, almost undetectable fluctuations to events so powerful they're classified as X-class flares, capable of disrupting technologies across Earth. It's a striking reminder that, while our technological advances have taken us far, they also make us vulnerable to forces from beyond our world. For those joining us hoping to catch an aurora sighting tonight, we're hearing reports from regions that don't typically see this phenomenon. These brilliant displays of green, red, and purple lights occur when charged particles from the sun collide with gases like nitrogen and oxygen in Earth's upper atmosphere, releasing energy that we see as colorful lights in the sky. It's a rare opportunity, especially for those in more southern latitudes, and it's an excellent time for amateur astronomers and photographers to capture something extraordinary. In the coming hours, keep an eye on your surroundings and stay in touch with local authorities for any guidance. Our technological world is resilient, but when faced with powerful solar events, small steps, like keeping backup batteries for mobile devices or having non-perishable food and water on hand, can make a big difference in case of extended disruptions. As we look to the future, it's clear that events like these remind us of the importance of preparing for solar weather with the same seriousness as any other natural event. Governments and scientists are investing in space weather forecasting, building systems to predict and respond to these flares with greater accuracy. One promising development is the collaboration between space agencies around the world, who are pooling resources and data to protect both public and private sectors. Such partnerships are essential, as solar flares know no borders, impacting all areas of our interconnected planet. Thank you for staying with us as we continue to monitor this significant solar flare event and its ongoing effects on Earth. For those still tuned in, we're covering everything from the immediate impacts on technology and infrastructure to the incredible aurora displays lighting up the night sky. As we move into the next phase of the solar storm, scientists and emergency responders are working around the clock to manage potential risks while also taking advantage of this rare opportunity to learn from such an intense solar phenomenon. Let's start with an update on the power grid. Many utility companies have already taken preemptive steps to manage the increased electrical currents that solar flares can induce. These currents, if strong enough, can create powerful surges in the Earth's crust, which in turn impact transformers and other critical equipment. Engineers are closely monitoring voltage levels to keep power systems stable, especially in areas at higher latitudes that are more susceptible to these geomagnetic effects. It's worth noting that these monitoring efforts rely on advanced systems that analyze real-time data from space and ground-based observatories, enabling power companies to take quick action if needed. To give you a sense of how proactive measures can mitigate risk, consider that many utility providers in vulnerable areas have implemented safeguards such as circuit breakers that automatically shut down in the event of a major current surge. This technology, while effective, isn't foolproof, which is why experts encourage people to have a few basic supplies on hand as a precaution. For instance, flashlights, batteries, and a small supply of non-perishable food and water can make a big difference if any temporary outages occur. Although widespread power disruptions are unlikely, these simple measures can provide peace of mind. In the aviation sector, airlines are adjusting flight paths on routes that traverse the polar regions. Polar routes, commonly used for transcontinental flights between North America and Asia, are especially vulnerable to solar interference, which can disrupt onboard navigation and communication systems. Several airlines have temporarily rerouted flights, extending flight times but reducing risks associated with signal interference. This decision reflects the highly coordinated efforts between airlines, air traffic control, and space weather experts, all working together to prioritize passenger safety while minimizing travel disruptions. For anyone with travel plans, it's a good idea to check with your airline for potential delays or changes, especially if your flight is international. The aviation industry has decades of experience in managing space weather impacts, and their contingency plans are designed to keep flights running smoothly even in challenging conditions. Still, being prepared for possible changes can help ensure a smoother travel experience. Now shifting back to the general public, those interested in catching a glimpse of tonight's aurora displays are in for an incredible show. Reports from places as far south as the northern United States, parts of Central Europe, and even regions in the Southern Hemisphere indicate that the auroras are reaching unprecedented latitudes due to the strength of this solar event. If you're planning to step outside to watch, remember that the best viewing conditions are away from city lights, and cloud cover could impact visibility in some areas. A clear sky is key, so check your local weather before heading out. The best time to view is typically late at night, when the skies are darkest. For anyone with a camera, this is a wonderful opportunity to capture the vibrant green, red, and purple lights that can appear as ribbons or waves across the sky. Setting your camera to a longer exposure can help you capture these colors more vividly, as our eyes often struggle to see the full spectrum of light in real time. For those in more southern latitudes where auroras are rare, tonight might be your only chance for years to witness this awe-inspiring phenomenon. Returning to the broader implications of this solar event, scientists are deeply engaged in analyzing the data collected throughout this flare, which has provided valuable insights into the behavior of the sun. Each solar storm, especially one of this intensity, enhances our understanding of space weather and its potential to impact Earth. Agencies such as NASA, the European Space Agency, and other space-focused organizations worldwide are working collaboratively to gather data that will refine predictive models for solar flares, geomagnetic storms, and related phenomena. The ultimate goal is to give the public and industries even more warning time before such events reach Earth, allowing for more thorough preparation and response. The current flare is also sparking discussions about the future of space exploration and satellite technology. As we plan more ambitious space missions, including crewed missions to Mars and beyond, understanding how to mitigate solar radiation becomes critical. Protecting astronauts and technology from these intense solar events will be essential for the success of future missions. In fact, some of the data gathered from this event will likely be used to develop better shielding and communication systems for deep space exploration, benefiting both crewed and robotic missions. As we approach the end of tonight's broadcast, it's clear that events like these connect us to the larger forces at work in our universe. Solar flares serve as reminders of the intricate balance between our planet and the powerful energies at play in space. The light shows we see tonight and the temporary disruptions to our technology are glimpses into the complex and interconnected nature of life on Earth in a cosmic context. To wrap up, we'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as new information becomes available. We encourage viewers to stay informed, follow guidance from authorities, and enjoy the beautiful natural displays if you're lucky enough to see them. This solar flare is a unique event, and while it may cause some disruptions, it also invites us all to pause and marvel at the raw beauty and power of the cosmos. As we conclude our coverage of this extraordinary solar flare event, let's reflect on the remarkable way it has affected people and systems around the world. From subtle GPS errors to dazzling auroras, this event has provided a powerful reminder of the sun's impact on Earth and our daily lives. For many people, the night sky tonight has been nothing short of magical, as vibrant auroras have appeared in locations where they're rarely seen. These beautiful displays with vivid greens, purples, and reds dancing across the sky serve as a visual testament to the intense power of this solar storm and to our planet's natural defenses at work. For those who joined us hoping to witness this phenomenon, remember that tonight is just one phase of the aurora's visibility. As the solar storm continues, these displays may be visible again tomorrow night and even into the following days in some locations. In addition to being a breathtaking sight, auroras reveal the fascinating interaction between solar energy and Earth's magnetic field, showing us a glimpse of the unseen forces that constantly shape our environment. The experience of watching an aurora brings an almost primal sense of connection to nature and the cosmos, a sense that we are part of something far larger and more mysterious than ourselves. While the natural beauty of this event has been awe-inspiring, the effects on our technology remind us of our dependence on Earth's space environment. Scientists have long known that solar flares, particularly intense ones, can have far-reaching effects on the technology we rely on every day. Yet each major flare, like this one, helps us learn more about how to strengthen and safeguard our infrastructure. Every lesson learned brings us closer to a future where our power grids, communications, and satellites can better withstand the challenges posed by space weather. The advances being made in space weather forecasting are significant. Thanks to international partnerships and cutting-edge research, we are now able to detect solar activity earlier and provide more accurate warnings to industries and the public. Just as we track hurricanes, earthquakes, and other natural events on Earth, We are moving toward a world where we can predict solar storms with greater precision. This progress represents a crucial step forward, especially as we enter a period of increased solar activity known as the solar maximum. Over the coming years, the likelihood of events like this solar flare may increase, making preparation all the more important. In the long term, these advancements in understanding and predicting space weather also play a vital role in our aspirations for space exploration. As humanity looks beyond Earth, planning for crewed missions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond, our knowledge of solar activity will help keep astronauts and technology safe from the intense radiation of space. Spacecraft, satellites, and protective systems are being developed with these challenges in mind, thanks in part to the data and insights gained from observing solar events like the one we are experiencing now. For those joining us from locations affected by minor disruptions, such as brief power fluctuations, unusual GPS behavior, or sporadic communication issues, we appreciate your patience. Rest assured, teams around the globe are actively managing these situations, and most effects will be temporary. These challenges remind us of the importance of resilience in our systems and of the role each of us plays in preparing for natural events. Simple steps like having emergency supplies at home or staying informed about space weather updates can make a meaningful difference. As we sign off, we encourage you to look up at the night sky if you are in an area where auroras are visible. Whether or not you see the lights tonight, take a moment to appreciate the wonders of our world and the greater universe we are part of. This solar flare event has brought with it a unique mixture of disruption and beauty, a reminder that nature's forces are as unpredictable as they are magnificent. We'll continue to provide updates as scientists analyze the aftermath of this event, sharing any new developments in the days ahead. Thank you for being with us during this special broadcast. May tonight's auroras inspire you, and may this event remind us all of the vast and powerful universe we inhabit. From everyone here, thank you. Stay safe.